So in this video we'll talk about how to wash your bike, how to maintain it and how to store it and under what conditions. First we'll go through washing. It's an e-mountain bike, you probably mostly use it in the forest, off-road, and it often gets muddy and dusty. It is tempting to clean it with a water hose or a mini wash, but we do not recommend it, so please do not use anything that puts high pressure water or large quantities of water next to electronic parts like the battery and its ports on the other side and here, the SIM, the MPF motor. So if you want to wash like your tires or something like that, you can use a water hose, but avoid large quantities of water near the electronic parts. We suggest you to use a towel, some sponge or brush with the smallest amount of water possible. Okay, next we will talk about where to store your bike and under what conditions. So what we highly recommend at all times, no matter what season it is, to keep the bike in some dry place and where there is no direct sunlight, which could cause high temperature of some components and damage. The battery itself has some temperature limitations. If the temperature of the battery drops to minus 20 degrees Celsius, the battery will turn off, causing your bike to turn off, and when it heats up back to at least minus. So when it gets back to minus 15 degrees, it will be usable again. So it will not heat by itself. It needs to be put in some conditions where the temperature is higher so it could heat up. Also, when you're charging the bike, there are some temperatures. So if the temperature of the battery is below 0 degrees Celsius, the battery won't charge. It needs to be at least 5 degrees, and then the charging will work. What we recommend next for the MPF drive, it has been tested and will work as expected in the range of temperatures from minus 5 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature is below or above that range, there's a high chance that there will be some issues in the motor's work. Also, when you're done using your bike, I don't know, if you're going to sleep, there is no need to keep the bike in standby mode. We suggest that you always turn it off, because it will first drain a little bit of your battery, and second, it might cause some damage to the battery. So always, before storing the bike for some longer period of time, turn it off. So how to turn the bike off? You have this power off and on button. If you press it just slightly once, it will go to standby mode, and that means that it's not turned off. So just press that button for a little bit longer until you see the notification on the display that the bike will turn off, and then you can store it for whatever amount of time you want. So it's recommended that you always keep the battery at room temperature. If you have a garage that's temperature is low, you can always take the battery off and put it in some place where the temperature is higher to store its capacity and health. Also, if you're not planning to ride a bike for like a week, 2, 3, maybe a month, do not keep the battery at 100%, and definitely do not allow that you drop it to 0% and then store it for some time. For the battery's health and the cells within and the voltage, we recommend that you charge the battery to 30 to maximum of 40% of capacity, and then it is safe to be stored for a larger time period, and there will be no damage to the battery itself. Next, the maintenance of the bike. I will focus on mechanical parts. So before every ride and after every ride, we highly suggest that you check out your bike to see if there are any loose components, because that might cause damage to the components themselves or to you if you fall off the bike or something like that due to loose components. If you're not familiar with the bikes and you haven't performed any change of some parts or something like that before in your life, you can always contact the local bike shop service, as they will know what to do with the mechanical parts. If they are not sure, you can always contact the closest Greyp retailer, and then if the issue is too big for them, they will work with us to figure it out. So keep your bike maintained, keep it clean, and you will be able to drive for a long time without no issues.